Hey there, hope you're doing well since our last call. For today's Mind Vitamin video, we'll be covering the power of choice, which is the most powerful place you can ever stand. Now, you might be thinking, choice, really, dude? Like, that seems pretty obvious, right? Stick with me here. Here's the thing. Most of us don't want to admit this, but most of the areas of our lives, we're sort of going through it feeling like we're a passenger. Like life is happening to us rather than for us or by our own design, right? Now that might be a bit of a dig at the ego, and that might not be true for certain areas of your life, like your business, your career. But I find that a lot of guys hand over choice when it comes to their health. And they sort of view it as a sacrificial lamb, when really, in my opinion, they're simply allowing themselves to be a victim of what they think is inevitable. They're handing over choice willingly in certain areas because they've justified it, right? And that can be a very dangerous thing to do. So let's dive into this. I had a client, Joel, right? Joel came to me. He was feeling like life was sort of happening through him. He was just going through the motions, right? Especially when it came to his health, right? He was just showing up to work, making money, coming home, going through the motions. And this was a guy that really prided himself on taking ownership, right? He was a big fan of guys like David Goggins, Jocko. He'd listen to all those podcasts, but he was struggling with his weight, right? So we had an honest conversation, and I pointed out to him that he was allowing himself to become a victim of his circumstances. And when it came to the choices that he was making for his health and prioritizing his health, he lacked leadership for himself and he lacked ownership. And I think this was the first time that he actually really realized that. And that's kind of when it changed for him, is when he actually took ownership over that clarity that he found, right? And it was at that moment that he realized that he did have a choice and that nothing was really inevitable, right? He realized that he could either continue, making excuses or take the wheel and become the driver of his results. So he made a declaration to do that, and he showed up for it, right? And he just started flexing that muscle daily of realizing that he always has choice. And then he started developing his automatic actions, his habits, through those daily choices. And eventually he lost over 40 pounds, right? And he's kept that off for, 3 years now, right? So maybe you're in a similar situation. You might not be, right? But maybe you feel like there's certain areas of your life, mainly in your health maybe, and fitness, where you're not fully in control. You are. You're the problem, but you're also the solution. You always have choice, right? It always comes down to ownership. Now, there's certain things about your life that probably make it more difficult and challenging, and maybe you have to manage expectations in certain areas. But as you know, with working with me, small wins turn into big victories, right? So challenge that narrative, right? It always comes down to either being reactive or being proactive. You can choose to see challenges as obstacles, or inevitable things that you can't avoid, or as opportunities to grow and to get stronger and to be better, right? So when you take control of those choices, you're simply no longer being a victim to those circumstances. You're taking ownership. You're becoming the architect of your own success. I said it before, choice is the most powerful place you can ever stand. If you're not in choice, you're in victimhood. So, what's one choice that you can make today to take back control in a certain area of your life? Maybe it's just setting a new aim for the week, for your nutrition or your training, or perhaps it's just eliminating one bad habit that has been holding you back. Right? Could be replacing one bad habit for something that isn't bad or neutral, right? Whatever it is, make that choice. Keep making it. That's the secret. Keep making it every single day, over and over and over. Flex that muscle. Eventually, it will develop into an automatic habit, and it will get much, much easier at that point. Okay. Remember, you're not alone in this. You're in good hands. I'm very good at what I do. I got you with this. We're in this together, right? And that's what these coaching calls are for. That's what these videos are for. So jot down any thoughts, any questions as usual, and we'll discuss them in our next call. All right. See you soon.